The Matrix depicts a dystopian future in which humanity is unknowingly trapped inside a simulated reality. Intelligent machines created to distract humans while using their bodies as an energy source. When computer programmer Thomas Anderson, under the hacker alias Neo, uncovers the truth, he is drawn into a rebellion against the machines. But, as in every movie, there is a message the creators are trying to get across. There are three main subjects in the Matrix film that are hidden in plain sight. What is the Matrix really about? Follow me as I will guide you through this journey. Let me welcome you to the Sci-Punk feed. The Matrix movie is heavily influenced by philosophy. Philosopher William Irwin suggests that the idea of the Matrix, a generated reality invented by malicious machines, is an allusion to Descartes' first meditation and his idea of an evil demon. The meditation hypothesizes that the perceived world might be a comprehensive illusion created to deceive us. The same premise can be found in Hilary Putnam's brain in a vat scenario proposed in the 1980s. A connection between the premise of the Matrix and Plato's allegory of the cave has also been suggested. The allegory is related to Plato's theory of forms, which holds that the true essence of an object is not what we perceive with our senses, but rather its quality, and that most people perceive only the shadow of the object and are thus limited to false perception. The philosophy of Immanuel Kant is also considered an influence on the Matrix. Kant's idea that individuals come to know the world through synthetic means and must choose to openly pursue truth to know the truth is reflected in Agent Smith's monologue. According to Kant, people can be their own agents of deceit, and the first version of the Matrix, designed as a perfect utopia, was rejected by humans. The machines then created the Matrix in the image of the world in 1999 to keep people content and submissive to the machines. This is seen as a Kantian idea, as the machines attempted to impose a perfect world on humans, but failed to keep them content. The film explores the idea of the pursuit of truth and the influence of synthetic means on our perception of the world, themes that are rooted in Kant's philosophy. Religion and mythology. Andrew Godosky sees allusions to Christ, including Neo's virgin birth, his doubt in himself, the prophecy of his coming, along with many other Christian references. Amongst these possible allusions, it is also suggested that the name of the character Trinity refers to Christianity's doctrine of the Trinity. It has also been noted that the character Morpheus paraphrases the Chinese Taoist philosopher Zhuang Shi when he asks Neo, "Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the real world and the dream world?" Matrixism is a fan-based, possibly satirical religion created as the Matrix religion. Transgender themes. Years after the release of The Matrix, both the Wachowskis came out as transgender women, and some viewers have seen transgender themes in the film before it was officially confirmed. The red pill has been compared with red estrogen pills. Morpheus's description of the Matrix giving you a sense of something that is fundamentally wrong, like a splinter in your mind, has been compared to gender dysphoria. Also, in the original script, Switch was a woman in the Matrix and a man in the real world, but this idea was ultimately dropped. In a 2016 GLAAD Media Awards speech, Lily Wachowski said, "There's a critical eye being cast back on Lana and I's work through the lens of our transness. This is a cool thing because it's an excellent reminder that art is never static." She spoke in 2020 about the movie as an allegory for transgender identity and compromises that they had to make at the time. In an interview with Variety, Keanu Reeves stated that he didn't know the film was an allegory for transness during production. The Matrix is heavily influenced by the works of Jean Baudrillard, Kevin Kelly, Dylan Evans, Lewis Carroll, and Grant Morrison. Baudrillard's Simulacra and Simulation was required reading for the actors and is visible in the film, but Baudrillard himself felt that the film misunderstood and distorted his work. The film has been interpreted as an allegory for our media-driven society and has been compared to works such as Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Grant Morrison's The Invisibles. The Wachowskis were also influenced by Kelly's Out of Control and Evans's ideas on evolutionary psychology. Comparisons have been made between The Matrix and the books of Carlos Castaneda. The Matrix belongs to the cyberpunk genre of science fiction and draws from earlier works in the genre such as the 1984 novel Neuromancer by William Gibson. For example, the film's use of the term Matrix is adopted from Gibson's novel, though L.P. Davies had already used the term Matrix 15 years earlier for a similar concept in his 1969 novel The White Room. It had been tried in the States some years earlier, but the Matrix, as they called it, hadn't been strong enough to hold the fictional character in place. After watching The Matrix, Gibson commented that the way the film's creators had drawn from existing cyberpunk works was exactly the kind of creative cultural osmosis he had relied upon in his own writing. However, he noted that the film's Gnostic themes distinguished it from Neuromancer and believed that The Matrix was thematically closer to the work of science fiction author Philip K. Dick, particularly Dick's speculative exegesis. Other writers have also commented on the similarities between The Matrix and Dick's works. One example of such influence is a Philip K. Dick's 1977 conference in which he stated, "We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs."
It is said that one of the many inspirations behind the creation of The Matrix can be attributed to Hong Kong action films such as Hard Boiled, a John Woo film. The Wachowskis, creators of The Matrix, found great inspiration in these movies, especially this one in particular. This movie has a lot of guns. Its action playstyle of filming made this movie so important to the development of The Matrix. The action sequences in this film were choreographed around the use of martial arts and guns as their entertaining factor of the movie. More than just calling attention to the potential entertainment factor of gunfights, this film is recognized by its long tracking shots, slow motion features, and its first-person perspectives. Lots of graphical violence and flying debris to make the scenes as vicious and as engaging to the viewer as possible. A lot of these movements and focus points are very present in the Matrix movies. Interestingly enough, the creators of The Matrix were also inspired by Hard Boiled, a 90s Dark Horse comic that shares the name of the aforementioned movie. This science fiction novel, created by Frank Miller, is set in a dystopian future in Los Angeles. While there are some mirror-like parallels between the futuristic setting and the fact that the main character of the story is not who he thinks he is, the influence of this comic was based on its visuals. The creators of The Matrix were very much attracted to the haunting grim expressions of the arts made by Geoff Darrow. The Wachowskis loved his artwork so much that they hired him to create and design the real-world space in The Matrix. The attention to detail in his art paved the way for the buzzing and insect-like machines to take life. Geoff Darrow even helped with the storyboard of the whole movie before it even went into production. Another amazing movie that was a major influence for the Matrix movie was the cyberpunk anime classic film Ghost in the Shell. This iconic movie, which was first introduced as a manga in 1989, became an animated film in 1995. Created by Masume Shiro, Ghost in the Shell told the fictional story of the fictional counter-cyber-terrorist organization, Public Security Section 9, led by protagonist Major Motoko Kusagani. The Wachowskis incorporated a lot of visual ideas from Ghost in the Shell into their film. The most obvious aspect of The Matrix is the moving green text. In Ghost in the Shell, characters can also seemingly bypass gravity and can slow time down, two techniques that the Wachowskis employed in stylistic actions. Additionally, their characters take pauses in certain poses, just as if they were being framed in a comic. Another movie that was great influence on the creation of The Matrix is Fist of the Legend. The Wachowskis were heavily influenced by this Hong Kong action film. Starring Jet Li, this movie is more traditional compared to Hard Boiled, and features highly choreographed combat sequences. In many ways, The Matrix mimics the brutality of the fighting in this film, while also echoing its style. It was choreographed by Yuen Woo-ping, whom the Wachowskis were eventually able to convince to work on their film. Yuen Woo-ping is famous for working with the likes of Jackie Chan in Drunken Master and Jet Li in Fearless. Morpheus and Neo's fight scenes were choreographed by him, and also the actors that performed in the movie. When you watch the final fight scene in Fist of Legend, you can clearly see the similarity between the techniques, the showmanship, and the focus. One of the most influential books in The Matrix was the legendary cyberpunk novel Neuromancer. There are similarities between The Matrix and William Gibson's seminal cyberpunk novel, so it's not surprising that both movies have a cyberpunk theme. For starters, both Neo and the protagonist of Neuromancer, Case, are computer hackers. Throughout Neuromancer, the plot revolves around connecting to a central computer network, appropriately called Matrix. Case is assisted by a female samurai warrior named Molly Millions, whose artificial implants give her an edge in combat over most of her enemies. As with Trinity, it is her who essentially draws Case from his past of dead-end existence. Simulacra and Simulation. In preparation for Keanu Reeves' role as Neo, the Wachowskis gave him some reading material. This essay on postmodern philosophy by John Baudrillard was one of the books given to him. Throughout this book, Baudrillard discusses how society has gotten away from the real world. We are designed to be catered to in today's world so much that we often prefer fake things to real ones. The simulacra concept was introduced by Plato. This is a play on his ideas. Plato argued that the reality we perceive is not real at all, because of various logical contradictions which exist. Therefore, when we discuss our reality or reflect on it through art or philosophy, we are essentially copying a copy. In order to create the kind of world we live in today, Baudrillard goes one step further, explaining that the truth of the world around us no longer exists. Another comic series that heavily influenced The Matrix is The Invisibles. The Invisibles first appeared in 1994 and spanned several time periods and locations. An overarching theme in these stories was the struggle against a grand conspiracy to keep humankind subjugated. Subliminal messages are fed to keep people in line, and those who act out are tracked down by an organization known as the Outer Church, which worships powerful beings from interdimensional realms who will take over once humanity is fully oppressed. Invisibles, a group of misfits, are fighting against this conspiracy. These outcasts band together to fight for the common goal of saving mankind from a horrible truth most do not even know about: out of control, the new biology machines, social systems, and the economic world. The Wachowskis required Keanu Reeves to read Out of Control as part of his preparation for the role of Neo. Kevin Kelly was the founding editor of Wired magazine when he wrote Out of Control. As Kelly explains in the book, rapid technological development of machines could result in the unnatural, gradually replacing the natural. It looks at how machines could influence society and how engineering advancements will eventually be indistinguishable from the advances on biology. It explains how we are at the cusp of this transformation. As in The Matrix, the machine modeled the Matrix after human society at the turn of the 21st century, which is considered the peak of our species.
What do you like about The Matrix? Let us know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on new theories and info. Thank you for watching. This was your host. Welcome to the SciPunk feed.